Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family beyond the binary, good evening and welcome once again to the Coach's Corner. I am your host, Warren Juggle God Hammond, and this is the show where we take a deep dive into one of Overwatch Tranquility's feature matches from the previous week. And tonight on the show, I have our guest coach, Oni. How are you doing tonight, Oni?
Hello, Daryl. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Glad to have you on the show, and thank you so much for joining us. You are now the furthest away coach that I think we have ever had participating in this. You are joining us all the way from Egypt. Is that correct?
Yep, true.
Now, is there a lot of Overwatch happening in Egypt? I was just curious about that right off the bat.
So I know a few I know some people who play Overwatch in Egypt, and back when the game started, it was a bit famous in Egypt, but right now it kind of died down a bit. So most players here, or most teams here, like Anubis and most other teams, just play like League of Legends, Valorant, and such.
Mm,
So unfortunately, not a lot of Overwatch teams here in Egypt. So,
so you've got to
but
you've
yeah.
got to get your fill in other regions then.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is why most of the time I try to work with EU teams, or even recently I started working with some NA teams. But other than that, it's kind of hard to work in like Middle Eastern teams because there's not a lot of them.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And what teams are you coaching right now? I believe I remember. I think you're coaching an Altera team, correct?
Yeah, so currently I'm an assistant coach on Altera Horizon, which is an EU team, like a 4.5 plus team, and it's been going very well. And just right now, I'm also looking for other opportunities with other teams. So currently going through a few trials, and it's going pretty well. So
Nice.
hopefully, very soon, you might see me in other teams as well. So we'll see how it
That's
goes.
awesome. Yeah, well, good luck. Best of luck to you. Now,
Thank
speaking
you.
about today, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we wanted to focus on. And speaking beforehand, you mentioned you like to talk about how to get the most value out of the compositions you're playing. Could you elaborate just a little bit more on that?
Of course. So basically, since every watch player knows, from even from bronze to like high GM or top 500, every player knows that there are different compositions for the game. You can play double shield, whether it's or rush or double bubble, or there's a lot of comps out there. So, but the thing is that some players don't know that for certain comps you need to play it a certain way. Like, for example, if you're rushing, you need to focus at a certain target, or you need to take different rotations than if you're playing double shield. If you're playing double shield, you need
Right.
to take the distance, and or you're playing dive, you need to take certain rotations to get you into position, and so you can dive that target pretty easily. So it's just something that some teams don't know how to properly put into the game or their gameplay. So that's something I try to focus on with different teams, just to get them to get the most value out of the comms. So that they can actually make it work. Even because sometimes I hear players, or sometimes I hear teams saying, the comp is bad, or so. But in
Mm-hmm.
different scenarios, yeah, the comp can not work sometimes, but in most scenarios, it's just the team not playing the comp correctly or not getting the value out of it properly.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for that. Well, you mentioned the team. Let's talk a little bit about who we're going to be watching today. We're going to be watching the Discord tier match between Mechanize and Maelstrom. Mechanize actually went up 3-1 in this match. And the players that we have, first off from Maelstrom, we're going to have Sharp, the flex support player. And from Mechanize, we've got Pegapants, who was on tank. I believe off tank, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so it's going to be exciting to see that. And in addition, we are going to be looking at the map that they played on Volskaya. I wanted to choose this one because I feel like there were a lot of good moments in it. Both teams capped first point. So it was a close match as well. All right, so why don't you show us a little bit about how you might roll out on this point, or maybe what we're going to see from the two teams here, as well as any important points you would say on the map in general. Anything along those
Okay.
lines, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So Obviously, there's a lot of different ways to go through Volskaya, especially first. Like second, obviously it's a bit closed off, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be a bit weird. You can, the best you can do is probably like dive maybe the right side of like here if you're playing a dive comp, or if you're playing a Symmetra TP or something, you can probably TP on the other side. But for the
Hmm.
first point, you're gonna have a lot of ways to go through this. So maybe you can go for like a rotation on this, or try and go through the high ground, or maybe you try and go for the sneaky TP around the back,
Hmm.
and you try and go from the back way, or maybe you want to go through main if you're playing rush or you're playing something like that. You can try and go left side here, and you try and go to the high ground, and you try and force them off this high ground. So obviously there's many different ways that you can go through the first point, but it depends on what you're playing and what the other team is playing. So for example, if you're playing again like a divey comp or like a double bubble comp, you can just go through main and try and get your monkey to try and contest this high ground, or the one in the middle, to try and get him to farm some nano charge and to farm the bubble charge, because obviously that's the most important thing about double bubble.
Right.
Or if they're playing double shield, or double snipers, for example, they're going to be playing on this high ground and the other high ground on the other side. So you try and force one way, and if they try to rotate to the other high ground, you try and follow them there and try and counter them. Sorry, or try and squeeze them out of the off of the high ground and try and contest the high ground as much as possible. So it just depends on what you're playing or how you want to play this. If you want to play really aggro and try and force them off the high ground and try and contest them there, or if you want to play really safe and maybe like play around the bunker here and just bunker up and try and play. If you're playing double shield, for example, you should just bunker up, and you hope you can just break the shields first and try and contest them as much as possible. And they're gonna try and stagger as much as possible and drop one by one onto the point to try and stop you from getting the point. So it just depends what you want to do and how the enemy team is playing, basically.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you so much. That makes a lot of sense. Well, now that we've looked a little bit at the map, why don't we go ahead and bring our players in here? So, Sharp and Pegapants, thank you so much for joining us today. And to get things started, Sharp, I just want to know kind of what the mentality was on your team going into this map. Do you remember if you were up or down at this point during the series?
So this was our second map, and I believe that we had gotten pretty thoroughly trounced by Bard on the Pharah on our control map, and so we were coming out really expecting to see that Pharah again. And our plan was we need to play faster than the Pharah. So we wanted to get quick things, play out of her line of sight as much as we possibly could, and win the ground fight before this far could get a lot of value, or to just try to never LOS her at all.
Right. Okay. Cool. And Pegapants, how about you? What were you all looking to do coming into this map? Because I'm assuming this was not your map pick. This would have been the other teams.
Yeah, so our mentality basically was to figure out what the enemy team was playing first, and we'll play off of that. And once we did that, we were just like, all right, cool. Then when we adapted, called some audibles, and we did what we had to do, you know?
All right. Sounds good. Well, why don't we go ahead and dive into the map then? So I'm gonna go ahead and turn a control of this over to you now, Oni. Yep, good. Looks like you are good
Okay.
to go there. And let's get into this. And
Okay.
yeah, what do you think about this defense that they've got up already, Oni?
So first of all, we can already see that Mechanizer are playing a double, not a double. Sorry, they're playing an Orisa comp with a Diva, and they're trying to go for Hanzo Pharaoh, so they can. They have a lot of poked, so they're gonna want to take as much distance as possible, or they're gonna try and put as much distance as possible between them and the enemy team, if possible. So, for example, here we're seeing them playing the Orisa on the left side high ground, and they have the Hanzo on the middle. So let me just get the pen up here, and one sec. Okay, yeah. So if you try and like look at it here, obviously they have this high ground to play on, and they have the other high ground on the right side. So by playing on this one, they need to be a bit safer, because if the enemy, or in this case Maelstrom, try and push them through inside here, or they're gonna try and force them out if they're playing double bubble, or if they're playing rush, obviously. So in that case, the best thing to do is probably just try and get your Orisa to the other high ground on the other side, and try and get them on the other high ground, and you try and force the soldier and the tracer to back off as much as possible, because if you get the tracer or the soldier in position and you try to farm nano for that double bubble, it's going to be very, very dangerous for the enemy team, because for mechanized, if that nano gets in charge, and if they get if Maelstrom gets the nano charge and the high charge for Zarya very quickly, it's just going to be a very easy win for them here, and they're going to take the first point, which happens in time, not because of the nano charge and not because of the Zarya charge as well. It's just mechanized didn't rotate fast enough, but we'll see how it goes here on the first point. So let me just delete that, and let me just start playing it. Oh, sorry, I'm
gotta
still on
select the arrow cursor.
the pen. Oh, this is so slow. I'm very sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, we've got a little bit of a lag between here and Egypt, everybody. So thank you for your patience. If the epic pen is moving a little slowly.
Yeah, sorry about that, lads. Hopefully we can keep it going. Yeah. So let me try and put this in spectate overlay just to get a better view for everyone, so that you can see where everyone is positioned a bit. Okay. So as you can see here, obviously that's probably on Crispy, not gonna lie. So in that case, if you know, obviously before the map starts, you want to take a few seconds just to tab out, and you see that, okay, they have Hanzo, they have a Pharah, they're gonna have a lot of poke damage while coming through around the corner, or while taking the rotation left side. So we want to get Crispy, or you want to get the Zarya just to close out that choke. So no arrows, or none of the arrows or any of the rockets just hit that Ana, because if the Ana takes a lot of damage, obviously Sharp can maybe cover her with the shield, if that's possible. But if he's not quick enough, the Ana's just gonna get picked off really early, which is gonna stop the rotation very early in its tracks. So
you're suggesting Crispy should use their shield there, and Triad should use the bubbles just when initially trying to rotate through that choke?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we don't want to get Crispy to use his shield just yet, but we can get the Zarya to use even one of the bubbles, because while coming through that choke, obviously the Pharah and the Hanzo are going to be shooting a lot of spam. So if we use even one bubble, maybe that gets us some charge. We're ready to go into the fight a bit earlier, and but that way we have some charge, and we also covered our Ana. So it's a win-win for the double bubble comp, basically. So that's one of the things that I noticed as soon as the map started, is that we didn't cover Ana as much while going through the rotation. We just let her take a lot of poke for no reason. So we want to cover her as much as possible while we're going through the rotation. But it's fine. It goes very quickly. Our Tracer also dies. It's okay. It happens. So we're just going to keep going through here, and we'll see how Maelstrom try and play this very quickly. So let's play this again. And okay. Oh, sorry. Pause it.
That's okay. Yeah, you have to hit play before you close that out.
Yeah. Okay. So Maelstrom just backed off. We're trying to wait to see how Mechanized are going to play this. We're just playing a bit closer. Pharah is just shooting them into the choke, which is obviously very good, because they want to charge that barrage as quickly as possible. They want to get it in as quickly as possible. So we're playing very safe. Sharp, Crispy already used his bubbles, which wasn't necessarily, it wasn't needed here. Sharp could have easily just used his shield to cover his Ana or anything, but it's fine. It happens. And this is where it gets interesting here. So
And by the way,
reason why
I wanted to mention real quick, I said Sharp was the flex support when I introduced him. I am so sorry. Sharp is the main support. So yeah, just wanted to clear that up as well before we get heavy into this fight.
Nice. Sorry. So as we see here, the team Mechanized didn't move quickly enough. So as we said at the beginning, we need them to move very quickly if they start rotating around here, because our comp is very spammy, or our comp is it's much better in a long range. But in the close range, we have Soldier on Maelstrom, we have Soldier, we have Tracer, we have Brig, we have that Monkey Taser, we have Zarya, which is very good, which is all around a very good comp in close range. So as soon as we saw them just rotating around this area, we just needed to flee to the other high ground as quickly as possible. So I know it's going to be a bit rough trying to do that without a Lucio, so it's going to be a bit slow, but it's fine. It's still going to be better than just standing here, because as soon as they reach this high ground, we're obviously going to have a very rough time countering them there, because obviously we want to take the long ranges, and again, as we mentioned, which is why we see Mechanized lose the fight here, unfortunately, because they took a long time to rotate, and Maelstrom is already on their tails. So, but it's fine. But I just have a question here, Pega. When you saw them rotating to the high ground to your team, why didn't you just call them out, call your team to like rotate to the other high ground or any of that?
Oh, I'm personally not like the I guess you'd say IGL. Like I basically just call targets in this comp. So when I saw them coming, I was like, hey, they're rotating top, and then usually off of that, my main tank would say, okay, let's rotate, or he would say something. But in that current scenario, I don't remember exactly what happened, because I was coming from the mega under that high ground, because I was
Yeah.
getting some poke damage off.
All right. So what I'm getting is, your main tank player didn't rotate you quickly enough.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
call it fast enough to rotate.
All right, that's fine. It happens. So yeah, that's probably why you guys just lost the first point immediately. Instead of taking that long range, you just waited for too long while they rotated into you, and the fight was over. It's fine. You already lost your Hanzo, and you're already gonna get demeched in a few seconds. So it's okay. It happens. You still have the second point. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah. Yeah, so Maelstrom just get an easy first point. They just rotated it into them, and they played it very well. So my question is for sure.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was gonna just ask Sharp. So, were you guys trying to play like just to brawl it out here, or were you trying to like force them to use as much resources and to get like nano and just high charge as quickly as possible?
So our plan was definitely to play for that nano. Our goal was to rotate through the high ground and then either push them off the top right high ground if they were there, and then get control of the mega room and use that kind of as our staging area for rushes, and we can take a step on point and force them to fight us there. But when we saw that their Orisa was not moving, we decided that we could probably just int onto them and come out on top, and that's what we did.
Perfect. Okay, all right. So, also, did anyone mention like the Crispy? Crispy's your in-game leader as well, right?
Actually, it used to be. It's me now.
Oh, so it's you. You lead the team now.
I do, yes.
Okay. So, did you by any chance ask Iconic to try and go scout, or where did you send Iconic exactly?
So Iconic definitely does scout. It's not really, that's kind of just like the plan all the time, especially when he's on Tracer or on Far or something like that. He usually plays the heroes that have the best ability to go ahead and scout. But we went into the right room there and saw the Orisa actually just set up a shield in front of us. So she was fairly committed to that position. And so we just, when we were passing the windows on the right-hand side there, went, oh, she's committed. Go, 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 go. It was very easy to see it as soon as we got to kind of the stairs in that right room just past Choke. We were like, oh, okay. This Orisa is like way overcommitted to this position. We can win this.
Perfect. Yeah. So basically, So what I'm seeing is Maelstrom played the comp very good, and they just took a very good rotation. They sent Iconic on to scouting, which was very good. But the reason why Mechanized lost the first fight is just purely, they didn't get much value from the comp, and it was just positioning error from the main tank and the supports as well, so which got them rolled, very early on the first point. But it's fine, it happens. We're going to go to the second point again, but just quickly, Juggles, you had a question. Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to ask how, potentially Mechanized could have used their comp more effectively. When we were talking at the beginning of the broadcast, we mentioned getting one of the things you like to talk about is getting the most out of your comp that you can. How could they have gotten more out of their comp?
So obviously by shooting a lot in that choke, if we know that they're gonna rotate left side and they're gonna be coming onto the bridge here, we want to choke them out as much as possible. So shooting on the bridge in the window, shooting while they're coming through main. And as soon as we know that they're coming through that side, they're coming on the bridge, we get our Orisa and our Baptiste to hurry out of there and just go to the other high ground and just play around this area. Because as soon as we take that other high ground, now the other team is going to have to play slow. Because the thing that we need to know about double bubble is that the weakness is that we can't give them any time to like charge their cooldowns or anything like that. So if they already used like 1 or 2 bubbles, or if they already wasted Monkey Shield like we saw while they're coming through main, so now they're gonna obviously have to play really slow, and they're gonna have to wait here instead of just chasing the reset, which gives us time to rotate very smoothly, and just get us set up on the other high ground, and we take again the distance. We try and poke them out as much as possible. We try and kill their Brig or their Ana or even their Zarya, because their Zarya is a very important target in their comp. So. So yeah, I think Mechanized could have played it a bit better by positioning their Orisa around there when they saw them coming this way, but it was just communication error or just a positioning mistake, which happens to most teams. Is fine,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can continue on to the next point, I think, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so we're just gonna speed this up a bit. Obviously, the team is just cleaning up. Pega gets destroyed, unlucky, and then Leica dies. So we'll just go on to the second point here. So let's get this set up very quickly. So Pega, let me ask you this: where do you guys where do you guys?
Do you want to let the point cap? That way we don't have that sound in the background.
Oh yeah. Oh, very sorry. I don't hear it in the back my headphones.
Oh yeah,
so
there we go.
bad.
All right, that's good now. You can pause it.
Okay, perfect. So Pega, what was the plan here? Trying to defend the second point here. So obviously you have 5 minutes. You know that they have nano. So what is your plan here? What did your team agree on?
Well, our plan was to play slow and try to build our ults as quick as possible, because we knew that they were going to be coming in with ults, and honestly the only ults, well, we do have 3 ults right now, but we just lost our fire ult charge because we swapped from we saw the double bubble, so we were like, okay, we're gonna go Brig, we're gonna swap off the Mercy, so then our fire swap the Tracer, and then yeah, our whole plan was to just build ults as fast as possible.
Okay.
And poke them out as much as we could.
All right. Okay. So let's see how you guys do this. So obviously we know the Brig is a very good choice from my opinion, because we know that they have a Tracer and they have a Soldier. So the Tracer at least is going to be going for a lot of flanks. She's going to try and bully our backline as much as possible. She's going to try and force us to use as much cooldowns as possible. So the Brig is a very good choice from my opinion. I think you probably should have rolled out on the Brig at the start, but since you didn't know what they were rolling out, so it's fine. It happens. But yeah, so we're going to want to take the distance again. So Orisa is in a good position. They're playing... Actually, do you think this is for Juggles, Sharp, or Pega? Anyone can answer. Where do you think Orisa should be positioned here? Or is this a good position, or is there a better position here for her here to play?
I personally think she should be on that little balcony. Like, you see right where Lekka is? You see that little balcony right to the right of it? I know
So
it's kind of a small platform. Yeah, like somewhere around there where she has like a broader like LOS, so she can get more damage off, and if she needs to, she could just rotate back through that building.
Okay.
And then like if they push point, then she could just keep that high ground while, let's say, I stay on point and contest it that way.
Okay. Sharp and Juggles?
I would have said probably Orisa plays point here, and Diva can contest high grounds like scout rotations and things like that. How give her a little bit more freedom, kind of the left side of point, I would think, and then that also gives the Orisa a retreat path, kind of back towards spawn if she needs.
Okay, so around this,
cover,
that's
there's
where,
like kind of some natural cover.
So I'm a main tank main, and that's typically where I would set up, is just where you drew. But I'm also a plat main tank main, so Take that
It's
as
alright.
you will.
Setting
We-
up on
we
high
don't-
ground is usually really good because you can dropping is free, but like getting up to high ground usually takes
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But also you got to think like, what are you accomplishing by having this high ground? And like your diva's not going to be able to be the one contesting point for a really long time against our comp. Monkey kind of ignores Diva's DM, and so does Zarya. So, like, Orisa really is the one there that can contest point for the longest amount of time, and especially with the Baptiste, right? Like, Orisa's just not supposed to die. She has a shield, she has gold, there's Immort, there's focus Bap heals. Like, your Orisa can sit on point for a really long time in this comp.
Okay. And Juggle, do you agree with playing on the point here around this area,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's typically where I set up. I'll set up like actually directly underneath that high ground. That way I've got a little bit of cover above my head as well.
Okay, so obviously playing on the point on the left side is also very good because you have this natural cover. You have your team on the high ground set up to help you in case you need heals, or your diva can fly down to try and help you a bit, and then go back to help the supports. So it's a very good position in general sense. But from my opinion, why wouldn't you want to play here? Why wouldn't you consider playing here?
I mean, that makes a lot of sense because there's that mini health pack too that's kind of right behind you if you need to drop down for that for whatever reason. Yeah, and the sightlines seem pretty good there. Plus, Orisa can drop down to the point from there as well.
And she can rotate left through that inside, get some heals before she drops as well.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So close to where they were set up, but not exactly where they were set up.
No, the
is
right
what you were
side's
thinking?
a little rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also one of the main important things that we already talked about is that their Tracer is obviously going to be going for the backline most of the time, and she's going to be trying to go for flanks. So if we play her on this side, we're going to be much safer. So if the Tracer comes around back here and she immediately goes behind us, if we're here, we're just going to have a hard time, just trying to play around the shield. It's going to be very rough since the bridge is very small. So we're going to have a harder time playing around that. But if we play around the left side, we just have the shield covering, fully protecting us. We have the sight lines to play around that. If we need to, we can obviously back off and the Baptiste can heal us. But the most important thing is we're also stuffing the choke as much as possible so that the Tracer doesn't freely just go on the Baptiste. So if we're playing on the underneath here, the Tracer is just gonna come around here freely, and she's gonna contest the Baptiste very easily, and she's gonna use his shift or his lamp, which are very important cooldowns which we're gonna use as soon as the fight starts. So if we just stuff that choke as much as possible with the Orisa and we just play around here, it's just gonna be much safer and it's gonna have more value. Make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Okay, perfect. So let me just put this on the arrow and let's keep going. Okay, so obviously we're just not using the shield here at all, but it's fine. Okay, good bongo placements. Crispy going in. I don't know why Crispy's focusing the Orisa for some reason, but it's okay. Bomb coming in. Okay, interesting. So Pega, you had two options here for the bomb. You can just, instead of going for the, jumping bomb that you just did or just throwing it in the air, you could have just, if you want to do a safe bomb, you can obviously just, put it on the middle here and wait for it to pop. Or if you want to get as much value out of it, I wouldn't recommend it here against the comp that they're playing because they're all just going to run around or just going to drop a monkey bubble and you're not going to get any value out of that aggressive bomb. But if you did want to get some value out of it or try and force them to use cooldowns, maybe you could have thrown it like in the back here. So my question is, why did you just throw it like around like midpoint and in the sky? So
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really play Diva that much. I'm a Zarya player, so
Okay.
I see all the Diva players throw their bombs straight up and get like 10Ks. So I'm like, I'm gonna try it. So you're gonna see that a lot from me because like I personally I never really like studied like Diva techs like that much. Like I can shift DM. That's pretty much it. That's the most advanced Diva tech I have in my book.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
All right. All right, that's fine. Okay, all right. So the bomb wasn't that big of a problem. It's okay, you know, against the comp, you're not gonna get that much value out of it. You can just use it defensively. In that case, you can just put it on the point. You know, just play it defensively. Or if you need to if you need to remake, sorry, you can also use that for your advantage. But it's fine. Happens. It's okay. So we try and go through the fight here a bit quickly. So obviously, target focus is very good. They already got the Hanzo, they got the Baptiste, they got the Brig, which was very good. So now obviously they want to get we want to get our Tracer, hopefully, or maybe our Monkey. Our Monkey's already dead. Where is our Monkey?
That's a good question. They just got a pick onto Noctua, so maybe if we find Noctua, we can find Monkey.
I think.
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
There he is.
Yeah, he
He
wasn't
was
showing
just
from
hidden,
sharp.
I think.
He was
Yeah.
hidden. Yeah.
Okay, so I think since we already got all of the squishies that we need to kill, we don't need to chase the Tracer here. Obviously, we can just put the Tracer to try and punish her, or we try and get the Brick to try and play a bit more aggressively, you know, which is sharp over here. Since you have the rally, you can just, again, stuff this choke or these set of stairs, you know, so that they can come from this way. And Crispy can just dive the Risa and kill, you know, the Risa and just finish the fight very quickly here. But yeah, it was very good. The initiation was very good. I think also mechanized Zealots could have maybe played a bit better. You could have just tried and use the high ground as much as possible for you guys. But you know, it's okay. The double bubble comp against an Orisa comp is a bit better, since the Orisa comp wants to take the distance. Zarya and the Monkey just close in the distance very quickly, and they wanna, you know, they get in your face very quickly. So I guess it's okay that you had trouble, you know, playing around that. So it happens. It's okay. Obviously, Picket dies. So yeah, it's okay. And we just finish the fight here, and Maelstrom just take the second point, and they have 3 minutes and 30 seconds, which is a very big time back. So, but again, totally still winnable here. So, any questions so far before we get to?
I think one thing that was interesting to me about this was that, if I remember correctly, both teams capture very quickly. Is that correct? From your memory as well, Pega and Sharp?
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Very
and so, you know, one of the questions I have is, what could each, you know, we talked a little bit about first point and how, you know, Mechanized could have rotated around a little bit better, right? They could have kited away. What could they have done differently to, you know, just because both defenses seem to be a little bit hard for each team, what could they have focused on in a broad sense, do you think, to help them stay alive and hold these points?
So, from my opinion, I think that Maelstrom, for Maelstrom at least, because since they already finished the attack, so the first team that's defending kind of has a rough time, since you don't know what they're gonna be playing. You know,
Right.
it's just kind of a surprise. You know, but for Maelstrom at least, since they attacked first and now they have this big time bank and they're also defending now, so I think they could have easily just full held it here if they played it correctly, but. As you can see here, they're playing the double shield with the Torb soldier, which is fine. But my question is, Sharp, why were you guys playing the Zen BAP? So both flex supports. Sharp?
Did we lose Sharp? Are you muted?
I think I remuted myself.
It's fine.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
So
Okay.
we wanted to play a really heavy damage comp to set up these like double shield is kind of like our idea here was to set up crossfire, right? Like, you know, make the point a death trap, so that if they try to go and just either take point or take the mega room, then we would essentially shred them from the opposing high grounds. And so a lot of high damage there seemed to be good. Also, we definitely needed the Baptiste, but we didn't, like, I was thinking Brig probably wouldn't get a whole lot of value here. I definitely should have done it on the second once we saw the ball. But also, there was nobody really for the Mercy to power boost other than a soldier, which I guess would have been okay. But we weren't thinking that was going to get a whole lot of value. Basically, we had tried the double flex support in scrims, and it went pretty well. So we figured it would be a good thing to try it out here as well.
Okay, yeah. So I don't mind the double flex support too much. As long as you can make it work, it's completely fine. You can do whatever you want, and it's fine to be flexible when it comes to comms, and all of that is very good. The thing is though, I noticed that you guys are playing the Zen BAP, and they're kind of playing a divey comp, which is again I know that you didn't know beforehand. But if they're playing, if you know that they're okay, the map started, we tapped out, we tapped, and we see that they're gonna be playing a very divey comp. So, what do you want to do here as soon as they start going through main, or where do you want to go, basically? Sharp.
Yeah, did we lose him again?
I keep muting. No, I keep muting and unmuting. It's just a bad habit.
All good.
Trying to be respectful, and I keep making it scuffed.
It's all good. It's all good.
So our plan was to drop to Meg, and to kind of just play in that room, because along with Baptiste heals from the opposing high ground, gives me a mega to play on, and a kind of safe place to keep up this crossfire. But our main tank decided that he wanted to take that rotation that you had suggested for mechanized, and to go all the way around the back. And I was like, oh, but they're a lot faster than us. Like, obviously I respected the call, and we started rotating, but they were a lot faster than us. They had boops. Like, there was just a lot happening, and we got caught in rotation and kind of murdered. So my idea would have been to drop to Mega and to continue that kind of, if you're going to try to come in on us from the kind of middle area, our second team on the right there would be shredding you from behind. And if you're going to try to drop onto us from kind of the rotation that we took on offense, that we would back out towards the backside of point and play kind of by that little cover in the middle of the back of point.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. It sounds like a decent plan. So we'll see how it goes. I already saw what was going to happen, but let's check it back, because I have a pain. So, turret is already down. Soldier is stuffing the choke. Very good. Sigma already used the shift for some reason. I don't know why. But it's okay. We're keeping turret. Why do we have a turret in point, actually? Why not just stuff?
I thought the turret was somewhere else initially. Wasn't it in the window?
It was initially
it was
in the window.
Initially, yeah.
Yeah, so, but I'm questioning the turret here, because if you know that they're going to be playing like the Tracer and Ball, obviously it's just going to be coming from the left side, or it's just going to be coming from the flanks. So why not just stuff it with the turret here? Which is a question for Shadow, but it's okay. He can answer that later. But okay, so as soon as we saw that, okay, we know Ball, Tracer are just coming from the left side, we saw them rotating. So should have you rotated already, or why are you standing right there? So you said that that your main tank wanted to rotate around the other high ground. Do you think you were a bit late, or are you on time?
We were for sure late. Yeah, it was a little bit. So we should have about 15 seconds ago probably started rotating and scouted this. As soon as we hit tab and saw that there was a ball that left high ground, it's just so boopable. You see all those Noob Hunter clips of people getting booped off the map over there. So I definitely think we probably should have rotated a lot sooner, and that's in some fashion. But I also think that we also would have needed a little bit more scouting on where they were coming from, because I don't think we knew 100% what to do when half of actually 2/3 of their team was still in choke and had the ability to kind of attack us wherever we rotated. And they had these two, the Ball Tracer duo that kind of plays in these kind of comps, just coming at us from this side angle. So it was a little bit of a tough call, but we definitely should have picked something and reacted faster, and that would be on me as the IGL. So that's on me.
That's completely fine. It's okay. So one more question for Pega before we. Sorry for boring the viewers. I'm gonna start the VOD any second now, but just a quick question for Pega. Why did you go for the Zarya instead of the Diva?
So as I said, I'm a Zarya player. So I was like, you know what? Can we try it out? Because we usually just perma run Diva, and I understand why, because she is way more viable than Zarya is. So I was like, you know what? In this comp, we can try it out. I can stay with my Ana since we have Mercy, Farm Mercy. So then me and Anna would technically be core there while our Tracer and our Ball are doing what they're doing. And if they ever need like any peel or anything, I can just throw my bubble out there to them. And if my Anna ever needs peel, I can just chill with her, bubble myself, try to block damage with that. But
So you're playing a 2-2-2 comp, basically.
basically, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So Ball and Tracer on the flank. We already see Crispy and Sharp already still standing there, and Sharp contesting the Tracer for some reason. It's okay. Stuffing the choke. We still don't have the turret stuffing the choke for some reason, and Sharp dying very early in the rotation, obviously because we took very long to start rotating. So Iconic in Narnia. I don't know what he's doing there, but it's okay. Okay. So again, what do you think is the main problem here from just as a general idea from what you saw?
If you're playing an Orisa comp, you have to rotate early and you have to rotate fast.
Yeah, and you guys are very split right now. So Crispy was on Mega, Iconic is in the back in Narnia, Bap is with the Torb, and Sigma's on the low ground. He just fell now, and we're already missing Sharp. So, do you see how you're not getting that much value out of the comp right there?
100%. Yeah, this was once I think because I was making the calls and I got picked first. I was like, somebody else needs to take over. I think it devolves pretty quickly. So we definitely need to usually, because Crispy was the previous IGL, it usually defaults to him. But because it was also a kind of scuffed rotation at that point too, where he was still trying to rotate and didn't have like a good idea of where the other players were, and we hadn't practiced how to do that rotation. I think it was like kind of scuffed all around, and we were just like, GG, next point.
All right. Okay. It's fine. We'll see how it goes. It's okay. So we already lost first point, which is okay. We split up. We didn't play the comp very decently, but it's okay. It happens. Sharp coming back to shoot the Tracer. Why did Size use their
Pulse bomb
there?
I was wondering the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a waste, unfortunately.
Yeah, so obviously Pulse Bomb isn't that big of an ult, but since the fight was winnable, not needed that much. I know that Iconic also did the same on attack first point. They also used their Pulse Bomb for no reason, but I guess it's to finish off the fight very quickly, but the fight is already winnable, so bit of questionable for Scythe, but it's fine. So fight is already winnable, so let's move on to the second point.
All right, so yeah, let's take a look at what happened on second point.
Perfect. Okay, so we're already set up. We see that Crispy's playing the on the low ground like juggles, and Sharp suggested for the second point. So let's see how it goes here. We know that Sharp is playing on the low ground as well. We have the Baptiste and the Sigma on the high ground. Iconic is covering the flank. Very good job. And Shadow for some reason is playing on the low ground as well, but it's okay. So we'll see how it goes here. So turret's already down, which is okay. And we start splitting up again. So we see, again, Iconic is on the high ground. I don't know what he's doing there, but he's not getting any value right there. Shadow's starting to throw his ult out. Triage just died. And our Baptiste still hasn't used his lamp, I'm pretty sure. Oh, okay.
They
used his lamp, actually. Oh, yeah, so just use it. Okay. So my question is, why did he use it over there instead of just throwing it on point and I can just walk to that?
He was probably trying to save Triage.
Yeah, I think it was a miss.
Because Triage died over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's okay. Bit of a. I think Crispy should have already moved backwards since we already lost our Sigma. We already used our lamp, so we're in a very tight spot here. So what we want to do here is probably just move Crispy as far backwards as possible, since he already used his shield, he already used his fortify. He doesn't have any defensive cooldowns right now or any defensive abilities right now. So we want to get them out as soon as possible, and we just want to keep him alive as soon as for as much as possible. And Sharp, who are you going to be using your packs here on, by the way?
Well, I was gonna be throwing my packs on Shadow and Conic, but with the Orisa getting pushed that hard, I think I threw one or two on Crispy, because with Triage dead, we lose that Orisa, we're not going to be holding this point much longer. So I was like, oh god, quick, save the Orisa.
Yeah. Okay. Understandable. So, also since we know that they have Pharaoh and they might just be coming from the other high ground that we talked about that might fly above that. So why didn't you try and like scout there? Like not you, obviously. Like maybe get your Sigma to try and look at that high ground instead of in case if they come flying from that way, or did anyone call that, or
Was not called, was not scouted. It was a failure of scouting on our part.
Okay. So yeah. So that's just obviously the positioning wasn't too bad here. I think it was just a scouting error. So nobody looked where the Pharaoh might be coming from, and Triage just got punished for it, and just Bard just came in flying with the Mercy damage boost, which obviously very, very unlucky, but it's fine. It happens. We started crumbling one by one. Target focus is a bit weird here from Mechanized because the Orisa stayed alive for way too long, but it's okay. We focus Triage here. We try and kill him as quickly as possible. Sharp coming in with Lucio and is trying to poop as much as he can. Very good grab and very good barrage from Bard and Pega. Very good job. And obviously the second point gets locked in here. And they just clean up here on second point. Maelstrom is putting up a very good fight, but it's not going to be enough. And Bongo coming in very late from Crispy. I don't know why he held that Bongo for so long, but it's fine. So obviously second point is over already. And again, it's the same thing for both teams. They're capping the points first, which I'm noticing is, and it's just genuinely not a single player. I think it's just either position mistake or a scouting mistake or any of that, which is kind of cluttering us on the defense a bit. So both teams are doing very good on the attack, and they're doing very good on the rotations and the ults and all of that. But for defense, both teams are struggling for some reason. I don't know why, but it's okay. We'll keep going though.
Yeah, we're in attack-focused squads here.
Apparently.
Yep. So we already went through both teams on attack, and now Maelstrom is back on the defense. Okay. So we know that they're probably going to be playing the Pharaoh here. My question is, I already see that you might be playing Kree here, but you don't. I'm pretty sure you switch out the Kree. Let me see here.
Keep the Kree.
I'm a fish brain. Okay, you keep the Kree and the Echo. Okay. But what do you have the BAP?
The BAP. So the Ana and BAP were essentially, again, the double flex support comp. Where the only idea... So the idea of this comp was the same as our first point, was that we want to play this kind of double shield, take both high grounds and shred them, but with a specific focus on trying to stun the ball if we can, so that he gets less value, and to have a better ability to kind of duel the Pharah on with Conic. It was 100% Conic's pick to try to diff him on the Echo. He thought he could do it, and we were like, okay, we trust you, go for it. And yeah, we were a little slow coming out here too, so we're not fully set up on the other high ground, but we get there eventually. And sadly, much of the same happens. I try to duel the Pharah a little bit, and I felt like I was getting some value on the Ana because Ana can put actually a pretty decent amount of pressure out on a Pharah. But when we went to rotate to Mega, I ate one too many rockets and got no heals from the BAP across on the other high ground, and so we ended up dead there. And that's not the fault of really any of the BAPs or anything like that. I probably could have rotated a little safer, or we could have done it earlier again. It's again the kind of same failures that we have on this first point here. Just we switched up the comp to look similar, but not.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fine. I don't mind the Kree and the Echo. My question was like the Ana and like Baptiste, since I know like if you want to keep one of them, that's completely fine. But I think the maybe like a Mercy would have been a bit better, or a Brig, just keeping the Echo alive, and in the same time just stuffing the choke in case someone tries and like play like on the flanks or anything like that. It's just gonna be a bit easier. And since we already have the Kree, we could have actually played the Mercy much easier because the Kree can just stay with our backline, whether it's the Baptiste or any of that, and just can stuff the choke on his own instead of like having a Brig. So if we didn't have the Kree, we could have had like a Brig, obviously, to just try and help the Baptiste as much as possible, or to like if you want to also play Zen or something like that with this comp, it's also completely fine. But I was just confused for a second, like why were we playing the Ana?
The idea with the Ana was that it was 100% an audible. I called and I said,
Mhm.
okay, the ball's a pain in the butt, the Pharah is a pain in the butt. Ana can kind of put pressure on both of them. So I was like,
Okay.
I'm playing Ana now.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We'll see. So we already know that you guys are again. First point is gonna go very quickly. So you know. Okay. So Pig already in the diva, which I like much better. Again, rotation coming in a bit late. Your Socrates is coming in very, very aggressively and boops the Orisa and the Ana on the from the high ground. And as soon as you touch the low ground, you need to start running towards that mega immediately. You need to close the distance towards your team. But if you stay here sharp, you're just gonna get obliterated, and you probably know that. So I think you already start running to Crispy, but we'll see how it goes. So ball dives you, yeah, you want to.
I got collapsed on. It was very fast.
Yeah, so obviously the Baptiste should have been able to help you there, just whether it's throwing the lamp out, throwing some right clicks or whatever. Again, very good follow-up from you, Pega, by the way, seeing that Ana very low and just going on that. Very good job. At the same time, you can see that Bard and Leica are just abusing this high ground and contesting the Baptiste. So now we don't have any healers at all. So we just want to choke them out as much as possible. Pega, Socrates, and Scythe are just going to go on Iconic. We kill Iconic. We then follow up on Triage and then kill the Orisa, obviously. Or we kill Crispy and Triage, whatever. But, so far it's going very well from Mechanize. Pega going, okay, Pega popping off. He gets another kill on Iconic. Noctua goes down. Bard goes down as well. Kree's popping off. Nobody's punishing the Kree for some reason. Like, we see that the Kree's free on the high ground. We have a ball. We have a Tracer. We have a Diva. Why not just bully this Kree on the high ground? Like, why leave him free? Pega.
This feels like another example, too, of, like, not, utilizing, kind of what you were talking about at the beginning, right? Like, getting the maximum value out of your compositions. And right here, with so many tanks and people on the low ground, it just feels like, that's not getting complete, value out of your composition picks as well. Just wanted to highlight that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So thank you, Juggles, for that. Yeah. Obviously, we see that the Shadows on the high ground, he's split off. He's 1 HP. They don't have any healers. Like, and we have we have a comp that can very easily contest that high ground. Like, we don't need to take like long rotation or any of that. We can just throw the Diva up there. We can we can send the Tracer if we want, or we can also send the ball, just to kill the Kree. The Kree's 1 HP. But right now he's not being contested. He's just chilling on the high ground, and the first person that actually starts looking at the Kree is Noctua when he got rezzed. So, and he already got 2 picks. He got a pick on Bard, and I think I'm pretty sure he also got a pick on Scythe. So, or no, actually, Triage killed Scythe.
Lekka, he got the Mercy as well. Oh,
yeah.
No, Mercy's alive. Wait.
No, Lekka's still alive. Yeah, Lekka's still alive.
He might have gotten Noctua as well, because Noctua did just get rezzed.
Yeah, I think it was Noctua.
Oh, yeah. True, yeah. So Noctua, yeah, sorry about that. So he already killed Bard, and he killed Noctua as well earlier. So instead of just leaving him out there and trying killing a Triage or something like that, why not kill the Squishy? Obviously. So your comp, Pega, or for Mechanize, obviously your comp is much better for killing Squishies. So you want to focus the Ana, you want to focus the Echo, you want to focus the Kree, you want to focus the Bap. Obviously, since Bap has the lamp, so you want to make him a bit lower on your list. So, and then you start focusing on the tanks, because if you just kill the Squishies, what is the Orisa and the Sigma gonna do? They're just gonna M249 and just gonna try and shoot you as much as possible, but they're still gonna die at the end.
So I have a
But it's
question for
okay.
you. Is it a higher value for like Pega and Socrates to potentially take out the McCree than the BAP right now? Because the BAP is very low and they're both over there. So I guess, that's my question: is the target priority? Should
So
it be on Shadow because Shadow has the high ground and he's finding value, and Red Mudkip isn't at the moment?
So my question is, I follow your question with a question.
Sure.
So who do you think is a bigger threat to our team right now?
Shadow. That makes sense. Okay. Yep.
So Shadow's on the high ground. He already got 2 picks. We don't have Res anymore. Okay. And is he a better threat? Is he a better target to kill? Because obviously Pega was still was on point here. Bard was also here with Leica. I don't know why Leica just immediately just left Bard and just flew away from him. And we could have had Socrates as well just to go there. Scythe was contesting. Scythe could have easily killed the Baptiste if he like juggled his blinks a bit better. He could have easily killed that Baptiste there. Like sending sending Socrates or just Scythe just to bully that Baptiste would have been much better than just
Okay.
all of us going onto that choke.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. You're very welcome. So, any questions from Pega or Sharp?
Yeah, I think I think I did maybe not so much a question, but just like a this is maybe a little bit of a remnant of like how our comp was supposed to work, which was that we play this 3-3 split double shield with both teams supposed to be able to have really high sustain on their own, so that if one gets pushed, the Orisa gets pushed, she lives forever. The Sigma gets pushed, he lives forever. The idea being that if one team gets pushed, the other team shoots the pressure on them in the back, right? Like if the Orisa got pushed on the left side, the right side would have more free reign. And this is kind of like the leftovers of our comp, but if we had gotten into that bottom left and were able to bunker up, if they tried to push us out, we would have had Triage, Shadow Fear, and Mudkip on the opposite high ground, just 100% unloading into them as they try to push us in that mega room. So this is half. They definitely should have focused Shadow, but also half like what our comp was supposed to be doing, just in a more scuffed way.
Yeah, it's completely fine. Obviously, playing since you already knew that they were gonna roll out on the Pharah, and they have a lot of spam. So, or not too much spam actually. It's just only the Pharah that's considered quote unquote spam with the damage boost. But are you gonna be able to like stop the Pharah if you split the shields? Like, is it gonna be enough sustain to try and like stay on the high ground, or are you gonna have a harder time like stopping the Pharah?
I would imagine it would be a harder time. We would hopefully, it could work out if we had a lot better focus fire onto that Pharah, right? Because like the Orisa's long range, the Ana's long range, the Echo can be, contest her a little bit on the other side, as well as having the BAP, Kree, and Sigma who can all contest her on the other side. So if we had really good focus fire and that was the only thing drawing our attention, I think it would work okay. But because their comp really has an ability to play so separated that it splits our attention a lot, that our focus fire suffered a whole lot.
Yeah, so basically, since you already understand that just having one shield in front of the Pharaoh is not gonna get it's not gonna protect you for too long. It's just gonna take like 2, 3, 4 rockets. With that damage boost, it's gonna go down really quickly, and you're gonna have a harder time just playing around that. So I would have suggested maybe like if you had like an Echo Mercy, for example, she could have like played in the air against and contest the Bard a bit and contest the enemy Pharaoh, and you could have just easily, like you said, bunkered up in the mega room here with the double shields. And as soon as the ball rolls in or Scythe rolls in, you could have just had a much easier time playing over there, just waiting for them to come into you. Because as soon as they come into you, you're gonna have those double shields also blocking the Ana heals. So they were just gonna die immediately. So if you land if you have an Ana and a Mercy, for example, and you have Sharp in there, or you have you're in there with your team on the Mega. The ball comes in, the Ana or the Tracer also comes in, and you land like an easy nade in there. They're just gonna die immediately, or they're gonna have to immediately back off because the Ana is not gonna be able to heal them, even if you didn't get the nade in, because there's a shield just stuffing the choke, so she's not gonna be able to heal them, obviously. And their best bet is just trying to get the Mercy in to try and heal him. And as soon as she flies into you guys, you can just easily kill her. And now Bard is also without the Mercy, and Iconic can easily kill him as well. So I think it's just this was more not. So the first time you guys defended, it was more of like we had a late rotation. I think this would have been. This is like a more positioning error from the start. I think you just played a bit,
Too optimistic.
bit weird. Yeah. So
we
yeah.
were too optimistic that a lot of our picks were there. Like, all right, we're going to each one of us counter the Pharah, and so one of us will do it.
Yeah.
And turns out we did not. So
Yeah. So
it should
But
have been
it's-
better on the support end. I should have supported either Iconic or Shadowfear in their efforts to take out the Pharah, as opposed to and supported the rest of the team better, as opposed to trying to help do it myself.
again, it's completely fine. It happens. We keep going. We still have the second point to defend.
Yep.
So
defend
we'll
we
keep
do
going.
not.
Yeah, we I don't know why you guys have such a problem with defending, like especially like has such a hard map to attack on. Like the defenders usually have like such an easy time just chilling in there, but especially second point, like I don't know, but it's fine. Why did Crispy go Rhine?
He called that audible. You'd have to ask him.
Okay, so
That's fair.
so the
It is
diva, I don't
definitely
mind.
a comfort pick for him, though. I'll say that.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense.
So, yeah. So, okay, Crispy, you're being called out on right here, right now. So, the diva, I don't mind the diva. Diva's very good since you know that they have Pharah. I don't mind the diva at all. Diva's very good, and you can dive with the echo bit, completely fine. The Rhine though is not gonna have any value here because you're just gonna keep getting booped around by the ball. You're gonna be getting shot from the sky and from the ball in the back and scythed from the back as well. Diva's gonna be stuffing in your face. You're not gonna get any fire strikes on the back line. You're not gonna be getting any value. And every time you swing, every time you drop your shield, you're just gonna take a lot of spam from the Pharah and you're just gonna die immediately. So, Crispy, this is from a main tank player as well. Take my advice. Don't play Rhine here, okay? You're just gonna get bullied. Okay, you don't want to get bullied. You're not gonna have fun here on Rhine. So
I feel
try and
like
keep the
I'm
Rhine
gonna
for
get
later.
yelled out later for for laying him out for that one.
It's completely fine. It's completely fine. Main tank players need to get chill a little bit. But it's okay. Yeah. So as you can see here, obviously he's just being around. He doesn't know which way to focus, and he's just getting bullied. And through that, your Baptiste gets bullied as well. Your Baptiste dies already. Now you only have an on-him. Triage already gets demacked. So I think if we kept the Orisa here, maybe the Orisa, maybe he's not getting that much value, but he already had like 40% on Bongo. He could have contested the high ground with the shield, just poke out the Pharah as well. And just keep the Baptiste in cover or keep the Ana at least in cover. But right now he's not doing anything in the Reinhardt. So that was a bit of a throw from Crispy. Again, not completely, he's not inting, I'd say, but it's very questionable the Ryan pick here. I don't think it had any value. So Triage goes down, yeah, bomb comes in again from Pega, gets a haha funny, Overwatch please fix the remake, thingy, but it's fine, he gets a kill. Iconic dies as well, yeah, they just clean up a point again. Triage just trying to fly in, he's trying to get it, he's trying to stagger, but he's gonna die again. Pega's cleaning up, very good job, trying to focus Iconic, yeah, he's gonna just trying to kill them as quickly as possible. Iconic is still alive for some reason. Okay, Bard finally kills him, and now Sharp is just... Oh my... Yeah, so defense... Pain... So yeah, defense is a bit of a painful experience for both teams, I can see. And both teams are not having fun defending at all. Like, both teams are just vibing and pressing W. on attack, but on defense, I can see that both teams are playing very passively. And they're just waiting for the enemy team to come into them, and as soon as they actually start coming into them, they start panicking and going everywhere. And they forget, oh, we're playing double shield. Okay, we're just gonna vibe on like low ground, and we're just gonna try and brawl them. So like, okay, questionable, but okay. So far, Juggles, what do you think?
Of this, of what we're seeing on defense and offense.
Yeah.
Um, I think
Yeah.
offense is going to have a little bit harder time against this comp that defense is rolling out with, but at the same time, defense doesn't really have anything that's going to provide point pressure as well. Like it's going to be up to Pega and Socrates, and probably mostly Pega, I would imagine, to just dip onto point to keep it alive and stay, keep it from turning over.
So,
But at the same time,
can
I think attack is going to have a hard time building up Nano and Primal because they're not going to have that many great targets, I think, to dive onto either, right? The cleave from Crispy isn't going to be very strong. So that's going to be problematic, I think, for attack.
Okay. Okay.
We kind of knew, by the way, that that was going to happen, but we also know that this comp kind of falls apart. Their comp kind of falls apart without the Ana because the Mercy is 100% pocketing Bard 24/7.
Right, that's true.
And without the pocket on Bard, we can kill him pretty easily with Shadow Fear and Conic. And even Mudkip taking some shots as well.
Yeah.
So we had actually scrimmed this a little bit earlier in the week, and our plan was to flush out the Ana with a soft dive, and then once we saw where she was, hard int onto her.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So would you?
Alright.
So do you want to know what our intentions are with this comp on defense?
Yeah.
So our intentions is basically have Bard perma bully the Ana in the back, and basically if you guys ever fully went onto our Ana, we would just win trade our Anas, and then at that point we have a better sustain because of the mobility on our characters. Plus the Mercy can basically just heal anybody from wherever they are in the middle of the sky.
Yeah.
So basically our Ana is always gonna be bait in this comp. And then we just clean up after that. That's our whole.
So we were either taking the bait or your bait may not have been bait.
Basically, it's a lose-lose scenario.
Oh my
teams
god!
were like, we'll trade our Anas and then we'll win.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So Noctua, if you're watching this after, I'd suggest leaving. Okay, dude, just leave your team. They're using you as bait. Oh my god! How brutal! Oh my god! Okay, well,
the sacrificial lamb right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So interesting, but well, I know that you guys already have a hard time as well on defense since we go into both teams get 1 minute at the end, so you also get like the second point. So
oh yeah, so also we didn't want to try like a traditional defense comp, and we knew that we are more comfortable on the ball diva. So we were like, you know what? Let's try an attacking comp on defense. It's basically we play these are the words of my teammates. We play the exact same way we play on attack, but just defending. I mean, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense, but kind of doesn't at the same time.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's an aggro style, and 100% it can work. But
and honestly, this is what I like running on defense as well. Like I run ball on defense Volskaya, and I love it. Or Winston. I just kind of I like it. I don't know. I think it works well.
Winston,
actually,
I see more than ball, but there's not like a whole lot of like fun places to roll around here. I don't think. Like I guess you could points really open. So
it is, but you can get everywhere pretty easily. I feel like, which is the important thing. Similar to Winston.
Yeah.
You don't have the utility of the shield, but yeah, you can duel a little bit better.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So why, since we all know that, okay, monkey can work here and the all ball can also work here, because most teams are going to be trying contesting the high ground, so the ball can just roll in like Socrates already did on attack, and he just booped the sharp and crispy off the high ground when they're playing Orisa Ana. So we know that ball can still work sometimes, and it's can work. Why didn't you guys play double bubble? This is for Pig and Sharp. Why didn't you guys Sharp? If you already played double bubble sometimes, why didn't you consider playing double bubble on defense? Double bubble would have been very good here as well, because you can just place the monkey here on the middle part. You can farm easy bubbles for him. You can farm easy nano, and as soon as it gets too risky, he can just jump to this high ground, wherever your team is playing, and you guys can just rotate and then rinse and repeat. You go in, you bubble, and you.
We'll probably consider it now, but we had practiced, we had scrimmed, we had vodded a double shield defense on this
Yeah.
map. So we went with what we practiced.
That's completely fine. Okay, do what you're most comfortable on, but again, try and think of as many scenarios as you can, as you can. So I think the double bubble here would have been okay on defense. You still have a hard time against the Pharaoh with Bard on the Pharaoh, on if you guys were defending, obviously. You're gonna have Bard on the Pharaoh again, but you still could have made it work with the Soldier or Kree or any of that, but. It's okay. Just quick question, but it's okay. So we'll keep going and we'll see how it goes here. So Scratch is just waiting on the middle high ground, and we're just vibing. Iconic is scouting, very good. Master Nade coming in. I don't know why Scythe didn't follow up on that, and Scratch just went in on his own. Scythe should probably follow up on that nade, but it's okay. Bard is already dead, so we're missing one person. Iconic is also dead. Now we lost 2 people. Attack is already going very well. And I don't know why we're not, if we already lost 2 people, why aren't we getting back, and why aren't we just playing a bit safer? Why aren't we bunkering up in the mega again? So,
okay, I'll. So
sorry.
also our plan here is basically stall out as much time as possible to give him at because we can also build our ults off of this, but we can also give them ults, which we know it's like a win-lose type scenario. But we're trying to take as much time off of that clock as much as possible. That's our that's our whole mindset, is basically take the time off the clock and stall as long as possible. Because we have so
just
much
dry
mobility.
fight it basically.
Yeah, basically just build our ults and then, because we do have the mobility to get back in time, but it might be just feeding, but it might also be just stabilizing and getting back to it.
Yeah. Okay, all right. That's a decent enough plan. So you're basically building your ults, and you're gonna start throwing them out on second point, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So Peg is having a tough time. He gets demacked. Bard going in. He gets 1 kill on the red mop, but it's fine. Red mud. Sorry, red mud. Okay. And we cap first point, obviously, and defense. Okay. So. Let's just rotate the camera nice and slow here. Go above here. Okay. So, same thing. So, 2 things. Why is Socrates and Scythe... Actually, 1 thing. Same thing. So, why is Socrates and Scythe not just positioning themselves in a position where they can just engage very easily? Like, for example... oh, didn't mean to move the camera. Let me just get the marker really quickly. So instead of just playing here and waiting, or Scythe playing here, why not? We know that Iconic is probably going to be going for the flank, or they might be coming on this high ground and just trying to roll down and playing a point. Why not try and put yourself onto the ground here, or why not place yourself in the room here? So Scythe is technically in that room, which is okay. I just noticed, but Socrates as well is a very awkward position, because now he's just in the front line, so he's going to have a much harder time to engage the enemy team here. But it's okay, since he's coming up close on mine, so we can just use that defensively on point, and we can do it for as long as we need. So okay, pulse bomb. Iconic goes in for the pulse bomb on Bard for no reason. I don't know why he was trying to bomb a Pharaoh, but it's okay. Scythe gets a kill. Frisky
Ego
kills
pulse.
Tua.
Ego pulse.
Ego pulse.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, very, very, very weird from Iconic, but it's okay. So Shadow goes down. Pig is cleaning up. Okay, we're vibing on point. Sharp comes in. We try and kill Sharp. Very good. We try and kill Crispy. Yeah. So, and we finally win a defense point. So, what
That's
is
what
the
it
main
took.
thing
It took
that?
a defense. Just one defense.
Yeah,
win.
exactly. It just took one defense. Like I swear, if one team would have won just one defense, it would have been over for like since like 10 minutes already. But my question is for Pega. Why do you think you guys just had like an easier time defending on second point here than the first time you guys defended on second point?
I think that we were more on our like comfort comp, I guess you could say, instead of trying to like force like a traditional defense comp. We ran our like divey slash brawly type or pokey comp. I feel like we're just more comfortable in that than like running like Orisa and like knowing where to position exactly, you know, how to play as a team and that type like Orisa comp. But I think we were all just way more comfortable on the pharmacy ball diva.
Okay. So, from my opinion, I think you guys had a much easier time just defending on second point, because obviously you had ults, you had a plan. I think most times whoever was defending didn't have a certain plan in mind. They just said, okay, we're gonna stay here on this high ground, and as soon as they start rolling in, we're gonna rotate to the other high ground. That's the only plan we had in mind. And as soon as they started rolling in, we didn't rotate quickly enough. We died. And then on second point, we just stood there like, okay, what are we gonna do? And they're already coming into us, and we don't have a certain plan in mind. So, but I think that second point defense was a much better. At the end there, Pega came in with a bomb. Bard was cleaning up. I think Socrates should have been a much in an easier position to engage his ball, or he could have went again. He could have easily went Winston from the start from the first point. So I'm still wondering why both teams didn't play Winston at all on defense, since he's very good on defense on Volskaya, since we have a lot of high grounds that he can just easily contest, whether with double bubble or with Monkey Diva. But we didn't use that at all for our advantage. So yeah, I think that it was just a lot of confusion, and both teams didn't know what they wanted to do with their comp. They just know that, okay, we have double shields, so we split them off and we just play here. But we don't know how to go around that, or when stuff actually starts going down, we don't know where to move or how to use our cooldowns or where to go exactly. So I think it was just, we just need to work on our comps a bit more. I see that Maelstrom are very comfortable in the double bubble, so I think they should probably abuse that a bit more. Mechanizer are also very comfortable on Diva and Ball, and Bard is very comfortable on the Pharaoh, so you can try maybe the Ball Pharaoh comp a bit more on different points. You shouldn't one-trick it, because I hate one-tricks, but, maybe just, try and get it in as quickly as possible and see how you can get as much value from the comp as you can, But yeah, that's
right.
Full Sky, basically.
Thank you. Well, let's wrap things up then with just a quick take-home point. We talked about this at the beginning of the show, but one of your, or sorry, we talked about this before the show rather, but one of the big points that you wanted the audience to remember is to try and stay as flexible as possible.
Yeah. So, from my opinion, the biggest thing that happened, like the biggest problem that happened with teams, when things starts going wrong, they start getting frustrated and they start, what should we do here? And they start getting confused, they start getting cluttered, and things just go very in a bad direction. So, but if you stay calm and you know that, okay, we're flexible on this and this and this, and we can play this, and you stay as flexible as you can just play this comp. If it's not working, okay, we're just going to switch it out to this very early, and we're going to play it out and we see how it goes, and obviously in scrims you can be as flexible as you can play a lot of different comps, and you just see what you're comfortable on, so I think my advice is, don't try and force yourself to play something that you're not comfortable on. Don't try to force yourself to play something just because different teams are playing this on this map. Just play where you're comfortable on. Try and stay as flexible and try and as many switches as you want and try as many roles as you want. And see how it goes. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Now, any last questions from either of you, Sharp or Pega? All right.
I think I'm all right. I think that was. I think he came up with a lot of really good points, a lot of reasons that our things didn't work more than I was thinking of. So I really appreciate the free VOD. Thanks, Oni.
You're very welcome. You're
Yeah.
very welcome.
Yeah, how about
All we
you,
had to do
Pega?
was get put on blast on stream.
Hopefully it
Thank
wasn't
you,
too
man.
painful.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah,
defensive
Pega, anything from you?
As a newer Diva player, like what would you recommend me doing to like learn Diva more, so like I can be more like valuable to my team?
So what I would recommend you doing is try and know where you should be playing most of the time. So if you're playing on the low ground and you know that your supports are also on the high ground and they might get dived by a diva or sorry, a tracer or something, you just want to keep an eye out. Okay, I'm gonna fly up to them, contest the high ground as much as possible, and then come back down, because that is what differentiates most diva about like from a Zarya or something, that diva can just contest high grounds very quickly and very easily, and she has this DM that's very quickly to recharge. And so I think for you, I'd suggest just try and know where you want to play, or who do you want to play with. So if you want to stay with your ball, if your Ana's going to need a lot of cover, so you want to play around back with her. If they're going to try and contest the high ground, so you want to contest them back and then drop back to your team. So just try and know where you want to play and take it from there. Afterwards, you just start managing your DM and all of that good stuff. That's just pure micro afterwards. But for now, just try and know where you want to play and how you want to get value from this, basically.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right.
Okay.
Well, that's gonna just about wrap it up. So thank you all so much for tuning in once again tonight. If you've enjoyed this, be sure to hit Overwatch Tranquility with a follow or a subscribe. And in addition, feel free to follow any of us who have been on the program tonight. We will have all of our Twitters in the credits right after this. Once again, we've got lots of amazing programming happening here in Overwatch Tranquility. This is the beginning of the week, so we just saw the Harmony tier match, but we still got the Transcendence and Discord matches coming up Wednesday and Thursday night. And don't forget to tune into all of the amazing podcasts we have going on. It's been just fantastic having so many new things to watch. We have, in addition to this show, of course, we have the Iris podcast, we've got B-Trop, and we have Predicting Tranquility. All fantastic shows, all been, putting out a lot of new content, new stuff this year, so check those out as well. Once again, my name is Warren Jungle God Hammond, been joined by OniTheChamp, Pegapants, and Sharp. Thank you for tuning in, GG's, and see you all next time.